Make it a clean break.
Second
At the
lap.
top though, not the very beginning.
At the top,
It's hard.
really?
Halfway up.
Yeah, halfway. It's hard to
Like
hold
at
the
the,
entire
at the
hill.
kicker.
Okay.
Don't want to. Don't overthink it.
All right, here we go. Racing in Central Park again. My buddy Max got off to a rough start.
Whoa, Max.
Almost hitting the moto there.
I was crashing into the moto.
I didn't crash. I was controlling.
Okay.
Trust.
So yeah, this is my 5th race. So the last race I need before I'm eligible to upgrade from Cat 5 to Cat 4.
Oh, this shit's so smooth.
You know that stupid rap song? The rap dance?
And it's springtime in Central Park, so the park's recently been repaved. So the asphalt is super smooth in most sections. The flowers are out, they're blooming, everyone's wearing their summer bibs and
You know
kits.
that stupid rap song? The
So
rap
things
dance?
are great. This race is the Mengoni Grand Prix. In the Cat 5 field in particular, it's a race
I
clinic.
live under a rock.
Hey, we're neutralized, but not scrolling.
So before the race, everyone huddled around, and we had some members of the CRCA give the newer racers some tips and advice on how to race. Very helpful event for the newer racers. We also had a pretty large field, so this is a open race, meaning that non-CRCA members can also race in this race.
Motherfucking Zach's all the. What's he doing?
So I think we had about 50 or 60 people show up. At the start here, we're neutralized. So very similar to the other CRCA C field races with Cat 4-5s. We're neutralized until the downhill. At this point in the race, the men's A and B fields have already passed us, as well as the women's A field. So we kind of slided in behind them, and we're neutralized. And this kind of gives the newer racers an opportunity to get to grips with riding in a tight bunch like this. So yeah, really cool experience here. And actually, I was not planning on doing this race until I found out that this race does count for points towards the overall CRCA race series. I don't know how that really works with the development field, because they don't quite match up with the ABC fields in CRCA. But you know, I found out that the points do count, so I didn't want to miss out on those series points. It was a bit of a rough start for me this morning. I woke up at 4:30 to make my way over for the race start at 6. You know, commuting over from Brooklyn. You know, basically smashed a bag of potato chips before the race and then headed over. But I think it was worth the effort. It's always fun racing in the park. I'm always glad to be there when I am. I also was not planning on recording the race. I just wanted to race without a camera for once. But then my girlfriend pointed out to me, hey, if you show up and don't record, you might regret it later, because you always have the option of not making a YouTube video if you do bring the camera and record, but not the other way around. And she turned out to be right, like she is about most things. So you can see a couple of folks in the field with us wearing these safety vests. So those were the, I guess, the clinic volunteers or organizers. So they rode with us in the group, gave us pointers, you know, guide us along the right path, I guess, especially for the newer racers. And yeah, a bit of a life update, I guess, on my end. So I recently got a job offer, and I will be relocating to Charlotte, North Carolina. A bit sad because I, you know, finally felt like I was starting to meet more and more members of the cycling community here in New York City, and getting a good group, getting into, you know, regular group rides and things like that. But you know, gotta pay the bills. And yeah, gonna miss the New York cycling scene. I will be back for races throughout the season. My girlfriend will likely stay in New York, at least for the time being. So I'll be back for the races and also obviously to visit her. But yeah, not sure if anyone from Charlotte watches these videos, but you know, if people do, would love to connect. And obviously I'll be looking for races once I'm down there as well. So yeah, we're still neutralized here. In the regular CRCA races, by this point the race is on. But for the race clinic, we're still neutralized for the sake of the newer racers. So just taking it easy up the hill. And for this race, I was actually, I knew I wanted to get to bed early for this race. I just wanted to get enough sleep in. But yeah, I ended up being way too excited, I guess, about and so focused on getting to sleep early that I actually couldn't fall asleep early. So I ended up sleeping at around midnight, a little past midnight. So yeah, not the most well rested. But it's a pretty short race, only 3 laps. Pretty sprinty, I guess. And with these open races, it's always a wild card. Like the first 2 open races I did, even though it was Cat 5, we had solo rider off the front, both ones. So really not sure what to expect here. So I wanted to make sure I was positioned near the front, just in case something like that happened again. Ah, now race is on. Okay, so here we go.
Move right, move right.
And just as the race goes on, we're neutralized again because we're getting passed by the men's 1, 2, 3 field. So this is a really short race because it's only 3 laps, and then we're neutralized. We're halfway through the first lap already, and we're still neutralized.
Good guys.
So we got the A field here, 1, 2, 3 field, passing us on the left. And yeah, this fresh gravel is super nice to ride on. Early in the morning, especially when there's less people in the park. In the afternoons and evenings, with the nicer weather and no lines on the ground, it's absolute mayhem. Just people going the wrong way, people crossing everywhere without looking. Parents teaching their kids how to ride their bikes. Which, the park is a pretty nice place to teach your kid how to ride a bike. But I feel like if you're gonna ride in the park, you have to have at least some level of control on the over your bike, right? Like you can't be new to riding a bike and then cutting across the whole lane and putting other people in danger. Here we go. So race back on.
Race on? Guess so. There you go.
I think my thought at this point was to kind of conserve energy until the planned breakaway attempt on the next lap. My buddy Steve up here, 119, is my designated breakaway partner, so we're gonna try and stay close to each other. I think already we have a guy up the front.
Hey, you'll lock down lane. On your right.
I didn't want to take any chances here, so we'll reel him in a little bit. I think my power meter's stuck for a little bit back there. I was definitely not putting out 890 watts for that amount of time. We brought him back pretty easily, and yeah, I have way more momentum than I wanted, so yeah, I take a pull for a little bit. Flick the elbow, let others go through. So another attack off the right. Yeah, people are pretty feisty on this one, especially towards the start. I think actually what happened in this race is pretty similar to the regular CRCA races, where I guess everyone's fitness level is pretty similar, at least at the start of the race, or because the race is so short. So no, breakaway attempts are kind of hard to coordinate or make stick. So I let other people chase this one back. And I guess they weren't doing a good enough job, so I take things into my own hands. I also drag the rest of the field with me, I guess. I am pretty fresh during this race, so my training volume has been pretty low this past week. So I guess my heart rate is a little bit higher than what it usually is. Yeah, I had to reduce my training volume because my knee was kind of acting up. Currently training not training, but planning on doing a half marathon at the end of April. And I was trying to get some more running volume in, so my feet wouldn't hurt or I wouldn't get like some random injuries afterwards or random pain afterwards. And think I must have ramped up my running volume too quickly, or something was off in my running. Because as soon as I added in the running with the biking, yeah, my knee did not like that very much. So I had to back off a little bit, make sure the knee was okay. We got Steve pulling us up the hill. Guy on the left attacks up the hill of Cat's Hill. And again, for this race, the start and stop is Cat's Hill, so just over the crest here. Same as the Central Park Classic, the first race I did. I think this is my preferred start-finish location, especially if it comes down to a bunch sprint, because it'll be a sprint uphill. And the length of the hill is kind of perfectly timed so that when you're at the bottom of the hill and you launch, that's kind of the ideal place to launch, so that by the top your tank is fully empty, but you're not quite fading yet. Yeah, I got a couple comments on my last video, people mentioning, oh hey, you got a new bike. Yeah, it's true, I did build a new bike, it's the SL8. And honestly, it rides very similar to the Alley Sprint that I had before. The main difference is it's way more comfortable. So for long rides, because I've got 30mm tires on there, I can run lower pressures. And it's super comfortable. So it definitely helps with from a training volume perspective. But I think in a race like this, the difference is quite marginal between this one and the Alley. As far as like frame stiffness goes, I think the Alley Sprint is actually more stiff than the SL8 that I'm riding on right now. I did a little video kind of comparing the bottom bracket flexing, and yeah, it looked like the SL8 flexed a lot more, which honestly was a little surprising, but yeah, maybe not, because they do advertise the compliance and things like that. So, and yeah, to be honest, the working on your fitness matters a lot more than the equipment choice, I would say. Especially at this Cat 5 level. Maybe when you're Cat 1, Cat 2, equipment makes more of a difference. But here you're better off kind of investing your time and money towards fitness related things. So nutrition, or good food, a coach if you're into that. And obviously time on the bike. Alright, so here I'm kind of checking back, make sure Steve is still with me. And then just kind of biding my time. So I made my way over to the right, just to make sure I'm not boxed in when it's time to make my move. And then I'm just trying to find a wheel to sit behind, so I'm saving as much energy as I can until I attack. This guy in the white sends it up the front. I think it's a little too early to launch. By my time, and then here we go. So this is the breakaway attempt. I think I checked back and Steve was still with me, so everything's good. We come up to this guy.
Let's work together. Let's work together. Come on.
We tried to recruit him into our little breakaway train, but he basically shook his head, and yeah, he was gassed. I looked at him and he's dead.
Just us.
So just me and Steve.
Just us and your friend Steve. Steve. What's the deal?
Yeah, looking back on this, it's definitely was not ideal, because we're only it's only the two of us. We're going into a headwind, but we did open up a nice gap. So that's kind of the advantage of attacking on Harlem Hill. There's a flat part on Harlem Hill where, a flatter part on Harlem Hill, and if you kind of launch your attack there, you get a little more speed and momentum, and you can get a bigger gap that way. Here, I guess, we're just trying not to blow up, but yeah, I think we were screwed from the beginning, because on these pulls that I'm doing, I'm riding well above my FTP. I think FTP sitting around 260, 270 right now. So this well into like VO2 max, even anaerobic. Definitely not made out to be a breakaway rider, but it's fun to practice and try my hand at it. And Steve's pretty strong, so I was optimistic, I guess. And yeah, I think Max was in on our plans, but we didn't. Yeah, I didn't see him when it was time to execute. So yeah, it didn't really work out. Yeah, maybe one of these races I'll get a rear camera. So I think what you would see if I had the rear camera is that the gap is coming down. You know, every time I look back, the gap was coming down. So unlike the typical Cat 5 race where the chase effort is disorganized and, you know, not really motivated, these guys really put together a kind of coordinated and well executed chase effort. And yeah, me and Steve are kind of, at least I'm on the limit. I remember at this point I was like, man, like this is rough. I wasn't even thinking about chasing the moto. Like usually when you're in a breakaway, you're supposed to think, okay, I'm chasing the moto, and that's how you kind of keep your motivation up. But yeah, not. I was already cross-eyed at this point.
This headwind's some bullshit. They're not gonna work together.
Yeah, the breakaway into the headwind was not the move, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not feeling good at this point. I also forgot to set my camera in the 4:3 aspect ratio, so it got stuck in 16:9, which is kind of a shorter aspect ratio. So I had less options to reframe things in post.
Yeah, let's shut it down. Let's shut it down. Shut it down. All right, sure.
And here I realized we're gonna get caught, so I was like, all right, let's shut it down. There's no point. I guess this dude in red didn't catch his name afterwards, but yeah, put in work, brought us back. That was a nice break attempt. I think it was my longest attempt so far. So yeah, good fun. And now my mindset is kind of shifting to, okay, it's probably gonna come down to a bunch sprint. So just trying to stay near the front for positioning, and then making sure I save energy, so I'm not, you know, so I don't explode or fade too much during the actual sprint or lead up to the sprint even. Oh, someone's dog.
Oh, what the fuck? Fuck you out.
The off-leash dogs are out of control. Yeah, so someone once told me that, you know, it was someone on a motorcycle, but he told me, hey, if you see like a little animal, like a squirrel or someone's dog run out in front of you, you just gotta keep going. It sucks for the dog, but it's, you know, better for you, because if you panic and brake or swerve, you know, you might crash and fall off. But if you keep going, yeah, it sucks for the animal you're about to run over, but at least you spare yourself. 160 dropped his bottle. So we're heading down towards Harlem Hill for the last time. And again, I want it to be towards the front, just in case anyone launches on Harlem Hill. As you can see, like from the attack that I did with Steve, you really can open up a gap. I think here people did get the hurry up. I think someone did send it up the hill. Yeah, so the guy that sent that attack, Danny, he won a little bonus prize after the race for, you know, the grit that he showed, sending that attack up Harlem Hill on the last lap. And then also later on there was a crash and someone bumped into his derailleur. So he got stuck in the same gear for the last half lap. So here we are in the final stretch here. I remember feeling pretty good at this point actually, but looking back at the footage now, like heart rate 184, pretty high.
Move right. Oh, what?
It's the media moto, and someone took the opportunity to attack and follow the media moto. So I guess we're off to the races again. So overall, not a boring race at all. Plenty of attacks, plenty of coordinated chase efforts as well. And I set a bunch of PRs, so we were zooming. So I think everyone's kind of trying to conserve energy now. Everyone's got the same. Everyone's kind of come to the same conclusion that it's going to be a bunch sprint. And we had a crash in the back of the field there.
Oh, shit. Keep going, come on.
Oh, and we get neutralized because of the crash, I guess, because this is a race clinic. We don't want the crash to kind of interrupt too much. But we were also getting passed by the field at the same time. Actually, come to think of it, us getting passed probably caused the crash because everyone had to squeeze in, and something probably happened when that was happening. So getting neutralized was honestly a bit of a blessing in disguise because I did get to recover quite a bit. The guy that crashed, he was okay. He did break a couple of spokes on his bike, but overall bike is okay. Danny was the guy that was bumped into. His derailleur had some issues, so he couldn't shift for the rest of the race. But all things considered, it could have been way worse. It definitely sounded way worse. When I look back, it was someone on the ground.
Uh-oh.
So here on the right, we've got Max moving into position. Max tailgunning the whole race. Done enough races with him to know that he's a pretty powerful sprinter, so definitely someone to look out for. So now everyone's kind of looking at each other, and I realize I'm a little farther back than I'd like to be. I put in a little effort to move up. Here, I think I'm realizing I'm still not quite where I want to be. I'm following one of the race clinic, one of the organizers of the race clinic in the safety vest. Yeah, you can definitely sense the restlessness, I guess, with the bunch. Everyone's picking up the pace now. I would see no organized team leadouts. There are a couple of teams represented today, but none of them are really controlling the pace or controlling the race at the front here. So it's just a bunch of individuals looking to sprint. And actually, it looks like our race clinic guy is kind of leading us out here. And yeah, here people really start to get moving. We got dude in the red on the right. He was pulling for a bit. This guy at 117 at the start of the race, I saw him and he looked pretty strong. So now that he's in front of me at the end of the race, definitely something to look out for. And here I'm getting ready to sprint, so really trying to keep pace with the pack. Position's good, I get pushed wide a little bit, and I decide, okay, now's the time to launch. And it's just a all-out effort to the finish line. I remember thinking, man, like, this finish line is a little further than I thought it would be. But I crossed the line first, take the dub.
Good shit.
And you give it your all when after the sprint, your arms are tingly because all the blood's going to your legs. Or Max came in third. Alex up there in the red and white came in second, just behind me. Yeah, pretty happy with the race. First dub, and my last race in Cat 5. So I'll be upgrading the next race. I'll still be in the C field for the CRCA series because that's Cat 4 and 5. But yeah, looking forward to the next race.